Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I am talking about the last week and a half of shows, WWE shows, starting with NXT episode 581 on September 16th. Then the following NXT UK, the first new episode of NXT UK since going off air or going to the clip shows back in April. Then we have SmackDown 1100, which I was in the Thunderdome for the last hour of, which was awesome. No, not the last hour, the first like 45 minutes. And 205 Live episode 197, which I was also in the Thunderdome for that. Raw episode 1425. 1425. NXT 582. NXT UK 112, SmackDown episode 1101, and 205 Live episode 198. So, that's a whole lot of stuff. And I didn't take notes for the episode that I was in the Thunderdome for, so I can't really remember a whole lot of the stuff from that. So that I'm going to go through that one really quickly. Let's see. I kind of don't want to go beat by beat through all my notes. I have 3 pages of notes of stuff. We had Shotzi Blackheart versus Io to open up NXT episode 581. That match was awesome. Go watch. If you only watch one match from the last 2 weeks, watch that one. If you only watch 2 matches, then also watch Piper Niven versus Kaylee Ray from this week's NXT UK. Both of those matches were great. Let's see. We had Desmond Troy versus Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa won that match. Austin Theory versus Kushida, which Kushida won. And Breezango versus Imperium. Let's see. Breezango won that. I didn't write down how they won. And I don't understand what I wrote down there. Then we had Jesse Kamea and Xia Li versus Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. Casey got the win there. Killian and Drake versus Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. At first, Killian did not go into this. He wanted nothing to do with this match, but when they were ganging up on Drake, he finally went out there, kind of saved them, and then walked off again. But they insulted him. Big mistake. And they drew his aggro. And so they won the match. I don't remember if they won the match or not. And then out in the parking lots, Tommaso Ciampa attacked Jake Atlas, and Kyle O'Reilly intervenes and says, "Hey, it's a parking lot. Save it. Save it for the ring next week." Damian Priest versus Timothy Thatcher for the North American Championship was the main event, and that match was pretty solid. Damian Priest retained the championship. It was announced that there would be a gauntlet eliminator, which I'll get to a little bit later, where every 4 minutes a new competitor will enter the match, and they can only be eliminated by pinfall or submission. Then NXT UK, the first NXT UK back. Oh my gosh! Okay, this little bit right here. Oh, you can't really see. Okay, this little bit of the notes right there. That's all my notes for this episode of NXT UK. But it was a great episode. I'm really happy that the show is back. I didn't notice it during this episode, but this week's, I love the camera work in NXT UK, and NXT is pretty similar as well. So for anybody who is tiresome of the whip zooms and shaky camera and stuff like that on Raw and SmackDown, for many other reasons as well, I recommend give NXT and NXT UK a try. All right, let's see. We had Gallus versus Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan. And then after that match, Gallus won, and then all the tag teams came in, and they're all looking to get in on the action sometime. We had Isla Dawn versus Aoife Valkyrie. Aoife won that match. And then we had an awesome main event. Was it really only 3 matches? I guess so. Noam Dar versus Ilya Dragunov was awesome. Ilya Dragunov won. And yeah, go check out that match. The next week, the following week, no, I'm skipping ahead because then we had 205 Live and SmackDown from September 18th. I really enjoyed those episodes. I did have like a gap, like a 3-hour, not a 3-hour gap, like an hour gap between the first half and the second half of SmackDown because I was in the Thunderdome for 205 Live, and the first 45 minutes, 205 Live was great. I do remember we had Arya Daivari take on 3 competitors in a row, and he won all 3 matches. And then Tony Nese defeated. Who did he fight? Who did Tony Nese fight? Does anybody remember what Tony Nese fought last week? Not 2 days ago, but yeah, that was those both of those are really cool. And then I don't remember really anything specific that happened on SmackDown. Oh, Alexa Bliss. When somebody mentioned the Fiend, I think it was Lacey. Yeah, when Lacey mentioned the Fiend, Alexa was on commentary, and Alexa went into a trance and hit Lacey with the Sister Abigail. This was after Lacey's match against Nikki Cross, I think it was. And during all of that, the only time that I really spotted myself, it was that I was on the screens that were kind of back behind commentary. So there's a couple of good shots where it was a commentary table and then me in like the second row or whatever. Then that's all I remember. Oh, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso teamed up for the main event to fight somebody, King Corbin and another person. They win. They hug it out in the middle of the ring, and then when Jey walks off, Roman just gives him that death stare. He's gonna kill him at Clash of Champions, and that's gonna be pretty good. Then the next Monday on Raw, this is episode 1425 on September 22nd. We open with Retribution. The main 5 come out and make their statement that they have new contracts with WWE. It's Sheamus. That's right. Thank you, SMG. If you are listening to this episode as it normally is put out, I am recording it live on Twitch, so I may be responding and asking of the Twitch viewers some questions. Let's see. So the stuff on Raw, I didn't watch. I watched everything this week. I watched a lot later than when it aired. So I mostly saw people's reactions online and accidentally saw some spoilers and stuff like that. So it was kind of a very different way for me of watching everything this week. So I saw a lot of negative response to this episode of Raw. I actually enjoyed it when I finally got to watching it like Tuesday morning, I think. And since then, all the members of Retribution, well, except for what is her I'm not sure what her Retribution name is, but Mercedes Martinez, her character does not have a Twitter account yet, I don't think. But the other four, they all do. We have Reckoning is Mia Yim. Um, Dominic is T-Bar. Uh, let's see. Mace is as Dio Williams. Dio Madden, not Dio Williams. Brendan Williams. Dio Madden. Um, and Shane Thorne is Slapjack. So anyway, on Twitter they've been really, really entertaining all week since this episode aired. But they challenged the Hurt Business to fight them. We had Angel and Andrade versus Dominic and Humberto versus Seth Rollins and Murphy to determine who would fight the Street Profits at Clash of Champions. And Angel Andrade won that match. We had Lee versus Drew. Again, this is like the third or fourth or seventh time that since the last pay-per-view. And it was ended disqualification when Randy Orton appeared with a chair to attack Drew McIntyre. Then we had Zelina Vega versus Mickie James in a number one contenders match. This would determine who would fight Asuka at Clash of Champions. And Zelina won that match. Tozawa got... What did I write there? Oh, Tozawa. My way of... I thought that would be an obvious reminder for myself what I was talking about. I wrote Tozawa got devoured, and there's a whole beach segment between him and R-Truth with the 24/7 championship. I don't know. I don't remember if he was successful. I think R-Truth is still the champion. Is that right? I'll check in the chat if any of you guys answer. Then we had Cedric versus Apollo, and Apollo wins, and MVP cuts promo in response to the Retribution earlier, because they said something about them being the R-Truth retained from a shark. Did he actually pin a shark? I remember he was pretty worried about the sharks and the Sharknadoes. So anyway, MVP says that you may be the judge and jury, but we are the executioners. Thought that was pretty cool. Seth has investigated something. Oh, he walked off during that triple threat tag team match. He's like, I have something more important to do. And what was more important was getting some papers, which may or may not be, there might not even be anything on those papers that he had in that envelope. But he was pushing the buttons of the Mysterios, and he said, I'm skipping over like details of it. I saw a lot of negativity about this segment, but I thought it was funny, and I thought it was a good callback. Sometimes repeating stuff is a callback, not being uncreative. But he has papers that said that that says the kid is not Rey Mysterio's, and he's thinking, oh, well, maybe this is Aaliyah's. I just said to look into Mysterio's kid. And then Rey really offended Aaliyah by saying she was just naive. She doesn't know what's going on in the business and all that kind of stuff. And that made her pretty mad. And she storms off. Sheena and Nia versus Natalya and Lana. I don't think that was a tag title match. But Shayna got the win for that match. Oh, SMG said Seth Rollins breaks character at the end of the segment. Did he? Oh, I didn't notice. Honestly, a lot of this episode I actually was like doing other stuff while I was watching it, so I didn't give it my full focus as I normally would. Then we had Asuka versus Peyton. This ended in disqualification when Zelina attacked Asuka. Murphy backstage checks on Aaliyah, and Braun defeats Dabba-Kato in the underground. And then we end the night with Retribution and this is when we learned the three guys' names. At this point we still didn't know Mercedes or Mia's names, but yeah, Slapjack, T-Bar, and Mace versus the Hurt Business. So it was Cedric already had a match, so it was MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. This ended in disqualification when all of Retribution attacked all of their minions, and then we also got an RKO to Drew McIntyre because Drew and Keith Lee came out to try to help fight off Retribution. So I think Retribution is either going to help. I'm not even sure. Because two of them are close with Keith Lee. So is he actually working with them? Or is it annoying to him that they're doing what they're doing? I think that might come into play very soon. Or maybe they are helping out with Randy. Randy didn't seem worried about them at all. He just like slipped in there and did his thing, and they didn't seem to bother him. So maybe Randy is the leader of Retribution, or just their inside man or something. I don't know. He pulled some strings to get their contract there. All right, moving on. NXT episode 582. This was just a few days ago on the 23rd. Oh my gosh. I wrote very small, and I thought that would be a good idea. And I literally just watched this. But we opened with the Battle Royal to determine who will fight Io Shirai at TakeOver 31. And backstage, we see that Tegan Nox was attacked. And she may actually be injured again. Not due to this attack, but something else. But I have not read into that those reports. But hopefully she gets better soon. Candice LeRae then goes on to win the number one contendership. Some awesome moments in this battle royal, especially with Rhea and Raquel going head to head and then eliminating each other. Also, Kate Catanzaro just spending it seemed like most of the match that she was trying to get back into the ring after avoiding being eliminated. All those plexiglass, those had me worried. The plexiglass is like she was grabbing on the top of them and they bend like towards, and it looked like she almost fell off a couple of times. But yeah, that was really fun. And then Kane Carter helping her get back into the ring the last time before that she ultimately got eliminated was really fun. And the last like moment, like minute or whatever, when it was just Shotzi versus Candice was really good. And the last elimination I thought was really good too. Like usually it's just like, oh, just knock him off the apron or whatever. But she like just throws her. She like monkey flips her off of the stairs out onto the floor. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Then we had Fandango's number one contender algorithm, which was very confusing. But what it ended up being was one member of each of the four tag teams would be part of a tag team. And then whatever tag team wins that would go on to fight each other as tag teams, and then that would be a number one contender at TakeOver, I guess. So we had Roderick Strong and Danny Burch representing their tag teams teaming together versus Fabian Eichner and Raul Mendoza representing their tag teams fighting together. And Roderick Strong and Danny Burch won. So at some point we'll get, I assume it'll be next week because TakeOver is also next week. But Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish, they'll be the tag team, right? Versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. And then the winner of that will be number 1 contender. Unless the title match isn't on Takeover, because they didn't have a tag team title match on the last Takeover. They saved it for TV. But before that match happens, we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Jake Atlas, which Tommaso Ciampa won. And then we had Austin Theory versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest won. And then Ridge Holland versus Antonio DeLuca, which Ridge Holland won. All of these pretty predictable, I thought. And then we had the Gauntlet Eliminator, which I enjoyed quite a bit. But like I said, my top matches for this week, for this week and a half, for the last 2 weeks of NXT and NXT UK, got to be Io Shirai versus Shotzi Blackheart, and a match I'll be talking about in a minute, Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven. But this Gauntlet Eliminator was pretty awesome too. I'd say this is my 3rd favorite match of the episodes I'm talking about today. We started out with Kyle O'Reilly versus Kushida, and then Bronson Reed got added in 4 minutes later, and then after Velveteen Dream snuck in to attack Kushida, Reed eliminated him via pinfall because the referee was distracted dealing with whatever Kyle and Bronson were doing outside of the ring there. Then Thatcher got added in, and then the final entrant was Cameron Grimes, and he did not go to the moon. He was the last, but he was the last one to be eliminated. Kyle O'Reilly eliminated everybody else. Reed got that first elimination, but Kyle O'Reilly pinned Bronson Reed. He then pinned Timothy Thatcher, and then he submitted Cameron Grimes there at the end. I think it was like with I forget what hold it was. Some type of like thing. So yeah, this match was very good, and yeah, I'm not sure if the eliminator aspects really added a whole lot that couldn't have just happened with it being a regular elimination match, but it was still good anyway. I guess the elimination of Kushida probably might not would have happened if there were already 5 people in the ring, but I think that seems like really the only difference. I don't know, but it was still very good. Then we had NXT UK episode 112. This episode was awesome. We opened up with Walter versus Saxon Huxley. Great match. Great to see Walter back in action. I can't remember the last time I saw a Saxon match, but yeah, just watch this whole episode. It's great. Then we had the Heritage Cup like kind of announcement thing. They drew all the numbers to see who would be matched up. Trent Seven will be going up against a wild card. Next week there will be a triple threat to determine who that wild card is. We also have Flash Morgan Webster versus, I don't remember who he's fighting. I already said Trent Seven versus the wild card. Dave Mastiff versus, I can't remember who he's fighting. And we will have Noam Dar versus Alexander Wolf. And that should be really, really good. Them just like being on each other's nerves this whole episode was really fun to watch. And Pete Dunne, he interferes, or he stops Dar from attacking Alexander Wolf there during that the match draws, or whatever you call it. Then later on, Sid Scala talks to Pete Dunne. He's like, we have to keep these guys under control until next week. And then they have the idea that Pete Dunne will be the special referee for that first Heritage Cup match. So that should be pretty cool. We had The Hunt versus Pretty Deadly. I've mentioned this it's been a long time since I've mentioned this, but I've mentioned it on the podcast before, that Pretty Deadly is an amazing tag team name. And I really like these guys. They won, And the Hunt backstage afterwards were pretty upset, and Webster and why can't I remember his name? I'm really Mark Andrews. Oh my gosh. Um, they like try to give them encouragement, but it doesn't seem to to sit well with them. They just keep uh, grumbling as they walk away. Um, but that brings us to, I guess it does make sense. There were only the three matches on this episode too. The last week's episode only had three. Um, that brings us to our main event, which was about 20 minutes, which is awesome. Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven, and is for the NXT Women's Championship. And yeah, I didn't really take notes of all the stuff that happened, but Kaylee Ray's knee gets hurt, and that plays into the whole like second half of the match. I mean, it was a thing they were building towards that in the first half as well, but uh, she almost gets like escorted to the back. The match gets called off or whatever, but she gets riled up by Piper Niven, and they continue. And yeah, it was really good. I like this match a lot. But as she is nursing that knee, I think as she was doing that, she was untying the bottom turnbuckle, and that is how she won the match. Is that she kind of baited Piper into attacking her in the corner. She gets out of the way. Piper takes all the damage from that, and that was pretty good strategy. That brings us to SmackDown episode 1101, the go home show for Clash of Champions. We opened up with an Ascension ceremony. Victor and Connor were not present, but we did have Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. It was supposed to be Sammy versus Jeff for some reason, and then it got turned into a triple threat. Not a title match, and not a ladder match, but a triple threat with the same people that are in the ladder match. Anyway, Sammy steals the win, but then AJ climbs the ladders, and they're going to have both of the championships at the top of the ladder, which I think is pretty obvious that they're going to have one person grab each of the championships at the same time, and then there'd be further confusion, and we'll never get this resolved, at least not this year. We'll just keep on having split champions for the Intercontinental Championship. Otis does not trust clowns or lawyers. That's all I wrote down. I forget what happened there. Then we had Gran Metalik versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura won. This is kind of a preview because Lucha House Party will be fighting Shinsuke and Cesaro for the SmackDown Tag Titles on Clash of Champions. After the match, Lindsay shoves Kalisto. These guys are further and further not getting along. Then we had Baron Corbin versus Matt Riddle, and Baron Corbin won. And I now remember what untouchable means. I was like, why did I write that for that match? No, it's another teaser for whoever the woman in the makeup chair and dressing room is. Nobody knows who she is. Then we had Alexa Bliss versus Lacey Evans. I really like this match, and then we got the Fiend laughter and stuff that was like putting Alexa into the trance, and then she finally goes full Fiend and just beats the crap out of Lacey, hits her with his sister Abigail after disqualification because she just keeps stomping on Lacey at the ropes. Ref calls it, but she keeps attacking and hits her with sister Abigail. Then she's going up the ramp when Roman Reigns comes out, and she is staring him down. He doesn't seem to realize it, but she's got our eyes on him and that championship, and I want to see Alexa Bliss versus Roman Reigns as soon as possible in the Hell in a Cell. That's what we need to see. Alexa versus Roman at Hell in a Cell. Um, and then we had the main event was what was the main event? That wasn't the main one. The Alexa versus Lacey was the last match. Roman just came out to cut a promo in response to Jay earlier, and he hits him with a Superman punch, lays him out, and just tears him a new one verbally as he's laid out there on the entrance ramp. So that was pretty cool. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for that match. And then on 205 Live, I did not actually watch it. I just skipped to the end of both of the matches just to see these are the who I would have guessed would have won. But we had Mansoor versus Adonis and Swerve versus Arya Daivari. And Mansoor won the first match. Isaiah Swerve Scott won the second match. Swerve is going after, as we saw in his promo on NXT this week, has his sights set on Santos Escobar and the Cruiserweight Championship. Yes, Untouchable is fabulous. And money. And can't think of other nicknames that she's had. That's my kind of recap of all of this stuff. It's a lot easier to remember things when I do it right after I watch each thing. So hopefully I can get back on top of doing that. Starting with tonight at Clash of Champions, the kickoff show starts in just 49 minutes. So just real quick, the kickoff show will have Asuka versus Zelina Vega. Asuka's gonna win. There's no way. Okay, I might jinx it by saying that, but there's no way that Asuka's gonna lose the championship. Period. Let alone lose it on the kickoff show. So, I think that one's pretty much a lock. Up next on the list this is not the order that's going to happen at all. But on the Wikipedia page right now, it's been announced. I think all the matches have been announced. That's right. Because there's 9 championships. There better be some 24/7 championship action. Even if it's just on the kickoff. That's fine. There's got to be at least an attempt, if not an actual match or an actual referee counting the pin or anything like that. But Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. I think Randy Orton is going to win. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Roman Reigns is just going to destroy Jey. Unless something crazy happens in Jey's favor, Roman's just going to destroy him. And it's going to be great. Bayley versus Nikki Cross. I think Bayley will retain, but maybe we'll get something to do with Blister Abigail, Alexa Gale Bliss, whatever we're calling this fiendish Alexa. Oh, which version of the Fiend though? So SMG Podcast says Fiend interferes in the Roman match. What if it's Alexa who interferes as the Fiend? That'd be pretty interesting. Surely we'll see Bayley versus Nikki Cross. That'll happen before Roman versus Jey. That's got to be the main event, I think. Let's see. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad. They're not called that anymore though. Riot to Live and Live to Riot. Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan. I think that Ruby and Liv will win, or I hope they win. I mostly hope they win. I'm not sure if they'll win, but I'd like them to win. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Lucha House Party. Cesaro and Shinsuke, they're definitely gonna win. Lucha House Party is gonna like fall apart, like like they have a termite problem, perhaps. Imagine having a termite problem during a house party. Um, it's a recipe for disaster. Then we had Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn in the triple threat ladder match. I think AJ Styles is going to end up being champion, but there's going to be something weird to happen with having the two belts up there. Very similar, if not exactly the same thing that happened at WrestleMania with the triple threat for the SmackDown tag titles. Then we had the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel. I'm not sure. I think Andrade and Angel they could win. They could win it. Definitely, and kind of like stick it to Zelina, like yeah, we don't need you. We're actually even better without you, or something like that. Since they already seem to kind of be in that direction. Oh, the Kinshasa Swing is unbeaten. Is that their name? That works. I would say the King of Swing style. King of Strong Swing style. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying now. And then the last match is on this list is Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. I think Bobby Lashley will retain his championship. So Retribution could get involved in that match. They could get involved in Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Man, I mean they could if Mercedes and Mia, they haven't really made any moves against any of the women on Raw yet. This could be the time go after Asuka, but I think most likely, I think definitely they'll have some involvement with Lashley versus Cruz, but also very likely that they'll get involved with the McIntyre versus Orton. Let's see. SMG says it would be funny if Otis uses the contract no matter if he loses. Oh, I forgot that he has the contract. Would he use it on Drew McIntyre so that he could go over to be with Mandy on Raw? I don't know. Get away from the Miz? Miz is just troublemaker. He could also get involved. Well, what would Miz get involved with? I think that's it. He's not directly involved in any of the matches happening. So yeah, those are my predictions or hopes or whatever. I think it's going to be a fun show. I like my predictions say, I don't expect really any of the championships. Less than half the championships will change hands, if like any. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there's 0 changes in champions tonight. But I think it'll still be a fun show, and hopefully we get some crazy stuff happening with the Fiend, with Alexa, with Retribution, and that's pretty much it, I guess. Also, what about the Underground? Where does the Underground go during these pay-per-views? Will there be an Underground pay-per-view perhaps between now and Hell in a Cell? Actually, I think I would like that. Even if it was just like an hour. They just had a special. It was mature rated. Things got super crazy. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. Let me know what you thought about all of this stuff and this episode by tweeting me at TIW Podcasts. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe, healthy, and happy out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I will see you next time here on TIW Podcast.